Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrathmaulana Qamaruzzamansaheb, which took place on Monday night after the Taraweeh Salat at Baitul Ma'arif in Kareli, Alahbadi, UP, India, Monday, the 7th of Ramadan, 1445, the English date, 18th of March, 2024. Hazratwala starts off this Majlis by quoting Ad-Deenu an-Nasiha. Thereafter, Hazratwala goes on to say, Dosto, Buzurgo, Azizo, friends, elders, and most dearest people, I had no thought, no tasawwur, and even anything in my mind regarding conducting a majlis. However, when talibin, when these people who have a genuine quest in their hearts are present, then why should I have deficiency from my side? Allah Ta'ala, let me say such things that will be beneficial for you people and for myself as well. Now, will it be easy for so many talibin to gather like this year? People make so much of mehnat behind one talib and then bring that person here. So many talibin have just gathered like that without anything or this or that. They have made themselves present. Now this talab and this true and genuine thirst and quest, enthusiasm, it is a very, very great thing. Gar nakhaste dad na dade khast. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not want to give you something, then He would not give you thirst in the first place. Okay, let's continue. Hazrat Haji Imdadullah rahimahullah ta'ala would say, and who was in front of him, the great luminaries there, Hazrat Thanvi, Hazrat Gangohi, Hazrat Maulana Qasim Saheb, they all made ruju to him and were taking benefit from him. But what did he have to say to them? He had this to say to them, that all of you people are better than me because you have come here with talab in the search of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I am just sitting here. Now, definitely people of such a caliber deserve to become a peer and a sheikh. He was not even an alim, which we can say in the terminology. I mean, at that time, there was no Darul Ulooms. The Darul Uloom Deoband was not even in existence. So, what can we say about that? That person who has his utensil, his earthen pot, connected to the oceans, will there ever be a shortage? These great luminaries, Hazrat Haji Imdadullah, his heart was connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Would there be any shortage then? It was coming directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was for this reason that these great ulama, Hazrat Gangohi, Hazrat Thanvi, Hazrat Maulana Qasim Saheb, they all came in front of him and bowed down because of the great wealth that he possessed in his heart. Hazrat Maulana Qasim Saheb, what did he have to say? That I have come here because of the great treasure and wealth which is in his bosom. On another occasion he mentioned, I did not come here like how the rest of the people say, that they came here because of the amal, the practical aspect. Rather, I am impressed on the basis of his knowledge. When Hazrat Thanvi was getting ready to leave to go and spend time with Hazrat Haji Imdadullah, then the house people said, now where are you going now? You studied for so many long years. at the Darul Uloom. Now, why will you go here and what's this about? He went on to say that this type of ilm can only be found there, meaning in the bosoms of these personalities. What was it? Ilm ladunni. This ilm directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now our akabirin have reached great stages. And we should also have a look at their kitabs. Hazrathmaulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to say, whatever I achieved from Hazrat Thanvi, that was everything, was there and in its place, but I benefited tremendously from the Maktubat-e Ma'asumiyah and the Maktubat-e Rashidiyah. Therefore, when we're speaking about these elders and these personalities, what do we say? That intentionally and specifically we should make safar and undertake journey expressly for this purpose. Maulana Yaqub Sahab went also to Makkah Mukarramah. We know Hazrat Haji Imdadullah migrated and he went to Makkah Mukarramah, and everybody now who wanted to spend time with him then went to Makkah Mukarramah. When he came for the first time to Makkah Mukarramah, Hazrat Gangohi said that, Hazrat, we leaving Mauli Yaqub here because it's his first time, and in the meantime we'll go to Medina Munawwara and then come. Now from this also we learn he came new, it was his first time, so before he could even undertake the journey to go to Medina Munawwara, the importance that was attached here, that he should stay in the khidmat of Hazrat and thereafter proceed to Medina Munawwara. So deen, one we can say, is lafzi, just in the word form, or we can say rasmi, just in the customary form. And then what we are emphasizing on here now is that of haqiqi, the genuine and the original. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and hidayat of making qadr of our buzrugs. And Allah Ta'ala bless us with that which He blessed them with. When I took my Maqbool and my Sa'id and I went to Darul Uloom Deoband and I took them there for Dakhila, what did Hazrat say there? He said, the person who comes here and comes through these doors, rather just looks at these doors, already he's supposed to now have munasabat and affinity with ilm and knowledge. Somebody said to me, where do you get all these waqiyat of the buzrugs from? So I said to them that you people are going over the hashiyas of the big kitabs, you must have a look at Amirul Riwayat. Sheikh Qawamuddin migoyed. Sheikh Qawamuddin says, Meyare ikar bar sehshe ast. Kitabullah wa sunnat Rasulullah wa sirat salaf. Sheikh Qawamuddin says that the foundation of our work is based on three: the Quran, the Hadith, and the Sirat, the life of the Salafus Salihin. And listen, if you truly want to understand the Quran and the Sunnah, rather, nay, you will not be able to understand the Quran and Sunnah completely and totally unless you look at the practical example and the way these pious predecessors lived Quran and Sunnah. Hazrathmaulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab sometimes would open up the Arwah-e Thalatha, and then sometimes he would open up Amirul Riwayat. On other occasions it was the Maktubat-e Ma'asumiyah and Maktubat-e Rashidiyah. Now our Akabirin, they were turning our attention also to this type of ulum and knowledge. There's a great need for this type of ulum and knowledge. On the day of Eid, Hazrathmaulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab at that time sent me into the Khanqa with the kitab, and he said to me that, go and read this ibarat to all those who are awake. Yes, if somebody is sleeping, don't wake them up. And what was the essence of that text in that particular kitab? I can show it to you people as well. It was about ilm lisani and ilm qalbi, yani ilm ilahi. That usko bhi hasil karne ki zarurat hai. There is a great need also to acquire this type of knowledge. And we learn and we can understand it from the hadith as well. The person who practices on the knowledge that Allah has given him, Allah Ta'ala will bless him with such knowledge which he knew not of before. तो मेयार इकार बरसे शेयस किताबुल्लाह व सुन्नत रसूल व सीरत सलफ. Sirat Salaf is something we should keep in front of us. Nevertheless, speaking about those kitabs, I have in front of me the Maktubat Ma'asumiyya. Now just look at the grand style in which Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom answers this letter or this starts off this particular mazmoon. He says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. He writes, Ba'd al-hamdi was-salat wa irsalit tahiyyat. Now look at that, how classical. Now, as Maulvis and ulama, we should actually learn these ibarat and these texts to see and understand what type of wordings also our ulama and mashayikh used. I was waiting for a long time for this letter to come. Nevertheless, the letter has come, and whatever excuses you have written, I have come to know about that as well. Now look at this here. He's answering to his student and his murid. But look at the words here. Makhduma, Haqqullah, tamam hukuk par ghalib hai. That, my beloved, the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so tremendous and so great that it supersedes, it is more overpowering and more deserving than all other rights. Or ma'rifatullah ahem maqasid mein se hai. And the recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is from amongst the great objectives. Now, genuine iman will only come about with ma'rifat and the recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, हासिल कलाम तालिब मारिफत होना चाहिए. The essence of what he's saying here is that a person should be in the quest of the recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this talab is something very, very great, and the marifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very, very great. Hazrathmaulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, he used to quote these Urdu couplets so that also those who did not understand the Farsi would understand some ash'ar, and these people would become very, very pleased because they did not understand the Farsi. Idhar dekha, udhar dekha, ise dekha, use dekha, na dekha, yaar ko aghyar mein dekha, to kya dekha? You looked this way and you looked that way. You looked at this one and you looked at that one. Amongst all, you did not see the bosom friend, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You seen everything, but you did not see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, recognize Him. Then what did you really see? You went to the United Kingdom, you went to America, you saw these buildings and those buildings, but you did not see Allah, you did not recognize Him. Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom used to say, I can't understand really and truly how the heart of that individual can ever be alive in which there is the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absent. It's not present there. I can't understand how that person is actually alive. And those people who actually become murtad, apostate, leave the fold of Islam. The fundamental reason for that is they did not recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person goes to Bombay. Why have you come? Somebody asks. But he can't answer. So, when you don't even know your maqsad of coming to the city Bombay, then what do you then wish to achieve here? What do you then wish to achieve here? So Maghduma, my beloved, the excuses will be there and it will continue flowing and coming in so long as you do not have the burning desire and the madness in your search and quest and enthusiasm. That's the talab-e-sadiq, this genuine quest. The excuses will always be there. When this flame is ignited of the true quest and genuine enthusiasm in your heart, then everything else will disappear. And these excuses from the tongue will also come to an end. When the jazb, when this magnetic effect from the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes, it will grab a person at his forelock and pull him towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Definitely this path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is of a person who should show some signs of madness, if you can understand what we are saying, in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that he can come out of the shackles of aql. So we're speaking here about talab. You know, Hazrathmaulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, people would leave and then on departure they would say, Hazrat will come in Ramadan. After they would just leave, Hazrat would then go on to say, where will they come? For them to come is no ordinary or simple thing. For a person to leave his home and come is no simple thing. Khoone dil peene ko, lakhte jigar khane ko, yahi ghiza milti hai jana teri diwane ko. A person will most definitely have to undergo sacrifice. Then something will happen and come about. So, when Ramadan would then come, Hazrathmaulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab would then say, see, they said they're coming, but they haven't come. Chu talab bar jane talib mi mustawli mi shawad. When this type of genuine quest and through enthusiasm enshrouds, overcomes the seeker, then for such a person, if the 7 oceans are in front of him, it means nothing. He will achieve his objective. And if the hugest and heaviest mountains are in front of him, then too it would not deter him. Now this ibarat is the ibarat of Shaykh Abdul Haq Muhaddith Dehlvi. Hazrathmaulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab read out this ibarat and this couplets to us, due to which we all became very, very restless. Meaning, he was trying to say that you people do not have genuine talab in you. There's a waqia that Hazrat Wala is quoting of this Buzruk who was walking, and from the balcony top there of the palace, the king is looking and was taken aback by the piety of the saintly person, due to which he screams out for him. When the Buzruk comes to the bottom of that fortress and the castle of the king, he then said that, how will I come? So the king said, just wait, I will get my guards to throw down the rope, and then once you hold on to that rope, they will pull you up. So when he reached the top, and came into the presence of the king. The king asked his question that he was taken aback about and what he needed to know. He went on to say and ask the Buzruk, tell me, how did you reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He said immediately and spontaneously, just how I reached you. The king then asked, Kya matlab? What's going on? What do you actually mean? What are you trying to say? He says, exactly how I reached you. Where your guards pulled me up, you pulled me up. That's exactly how I reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes jazb and pulls his banda towards him. Now Hazrat Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to make kalam on this here. What did he go on to say? He said, it wasn't just like that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pulled the person up. The person had to make mehnat. He had to walk. He had to come here. He had to go to the palace. All of this took place here. Then he was pulled up to the king. Similarly, when that Buzruk is saying that I reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was just not pulled up by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, he made an effort, he done this, he done that, he done the other. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made jazb and he was pulled to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where a person will have to understand himself to be weak and incomplete and insufficient. He will have to understand the lack and the lack of capacity and capability. He will have to understand himself to be incapable. It is then that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will truly pull him up to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspire us. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.